Welcome back to Snetterton, and we're looking forward to our mini challenge Cooper Pro Cooper Am race. Two separate grids, two races for the price of one, and the championships both very much alive. Robbie Dalgleish leading the way. He gets pole position today, and Toby Goodman to his outside. Both of those two separated by just 18 points in the championship. But I'll tell you, there's 50 points for a win. That tells you that this championship is probably going to go to tomorrow. The Am class, who formed the second half of the grid, the championship leader coming into Snetterton, by my maths, has lost his championship lead by a point after qualifying. And that is Lee Pearce. He's on 603 points now. Paul Manning goes ahead of him by 1 point on 604. A little bit of a gap back to the third place man in the championship, which is Josh Martin, and he qualified second, picked up 5 points, moves on to 586. So he is within striking distance of Pearce and Manning at the top of the championship for the Am class, who run on the treaded tyres. But it's the slick shod runners at the front who are going to concern us immediately. Robbie Dalgleish leading the championship from Toby Goodman. Then it's Lydia Walmsley, top lady racer in the championship. We've got two ladies. We've got Hannah Chapman as well, qualified 6th on the grid. Fourth in the pro category, points-wise, is Dominic Wheatley. And I apologise if I say Des Wheatley throughout the meeting, because Des is his dad who used to race. Next up, we've got Alex Neville. He's on 470 points. And then we've got, let me see, Toby Goodman we dealt with. So really, I'll to talk to you about the grid. In red, it is Robbie Dalgleish. Next up, James Hillary, who qualified second today. Lydia Walmsley is third on the grid, ahead of Dominic Wheatley. Then it's Hannah Chapman, Toby Goodman and Alex Neville. So Toby Goodman work to do from 5th on the grid in the pro category. The amateur class, who will start a short while behind by the Union flag, we'll see Josh Martin on pole from Paul Manning. Mark Cornell is next from Josh Porter and Andy Ringland. Lee Pearce, who did lead the championship, next up, 6th on the grid from Michael Paul. Then Andrew Langley, Neil Clark, James Parker, Darryl Brown, Adrian Norman and Archie O'Brien, who had problems in qualifying, starting on row 13. I mention Archie because he's had a little bit of momentum in the championship as we look at Hannah Chapman in the Ram Tubular's car. Hannah qualifying well, has had a couple of podiums so far this year, and fastest laps to boot as well. Going back to Archie O'Brien at the back of the pack for the AMs, having a few problems mechanically, but I think I'm the kiss of death for him, because he had issues at Brands. He had a bit of man flu at Brands Hatch at the mini festival and didn't do too well there, and this weekend picking up some mechanical problems as well. But he did win the last race in the AM class at Donington Park, and since I last saw him race, has picked up podiums as well. And at different tracks, to be fair. Cadwell Park, 3rd position, which was round 11 of the championship, race 2 there, and race 1 at Donington Park, with a 2nd place in race 1, 4th in race 2 and a win in race 3. So good field of cars. These will also be, I think, joining us on 2 rounds of the British Touring Car Build next year. So if you're a viewer who's sort of interested in that side of the racing, they will be guesting. I know Thruxton is one of them, because I was chatting to Michael Paul earlier on, who lives just outside Thruxton, and he's very much looking forward to joining the grids there. But thoroughly, in his first year, he tells me, enjoying his racing this year, which is what it's all about. This is part of the mini ladder, of course, moving up to the JCWs, which we'll see a little bit later on this afternoon. There goes Paul Manning through, Cornell, Porter, Andy Ringland. There is the number 23 car of Lee Pearce, and the rest of the AM class runners making their way. Darryl Brown in the 83. Darryl joining the grid this weekend. So the pole position times we need to look out for. Conditions much better. These cars were out fairly early this morning. Dalgleish setting a 2:33.446, still averaging just a shade under 70 miles an hour. Pole position for the AM class, Josh Porter with a 2:35.765. Because it was wet, the difference between the treaded tyres and the race tyre class cars was closer than you might have expected it otherwise. But the grid looking in good order, and the reigning Scottish champion. Our congratulations, of course, to Robbie Dalgleish, the man from Edinburgh, winning the 2019 Scottish Championship. He's been juggling both campaigns, so to win the Scottish and be one of the front runners in this championship as well, no mean feat whatsoever. There's not too many drivers that can do that, but Robbie Dalgleish has kept himself sharp, and he's up at the top end of things. James Hillary is to his outside, a driver that I had the pleasure of commentating on in the Fiesta Junior Championship several seasons ago, and he really is coming into form as well, James Hillary, in the number 2 car. Started off here at Snetterton with the podium earlier on in the year, so very clearly likes the Snetterton circuit as we get ready for our race start. Looks like everybody is in line in both sets of grids. Engine notes rise, and we're racing here at Snetterton, the penultimate race of the season. The clock is underway. The AM-class runners waiting behind for their moment, but a good start by Robbie Dalgleish, who leads. James Hillary in second. Lydia Walmsley in yellow and blue is in third place. And up into fourth, or in fourth, from fourth on the grid is Dominic Wheatley, as the AM-class runners get underway as well. The treaded tyres at the back of the field. We've got Alex Neville at the moment, pro number 1, and they're coming down into the hairpin for the first time, and going through James Hillary, but gets it all wide, and coming through is Dominic Wheatley into lead position. Robbie Dalgleish is down to third, and now challenging for second. Lydia Walmsley coming through on the inside line, cutting across there is Toby Goodman in the 85, so Goodman making progress up as well. Toby second in the championship, just 18 points behind, but an all-action start from the pro category as they come down into Agostini for the first time. Robbie Dalgleish there, up ahead of Walmsley, needs to make a little bit more progress through on the inside line of James Hillary. I've got to say, Hillary recovered well from that moment. Hannah Chapman looks to try and get past him, and look how close they all are together. Even Alex Neville, who started in 7th position in the group, is keeping tabs on them. Goodman looking to make progress from 5th. Didn't look particularly happy with his qualifying performance, but he's in 4th place here from 5th on the grid, and will look to move up a little bit further. But James Hillary getting sideways on the exit of the hairpin, the Wilson hairpin here, as they go down the Bentley Straight for the first time. This 15-minute race, and off the track goes Neil Clark in the 51, and a fair bit of detritus sitting on circuit as well. Neil qualifying in 9th position in the AM class out of 13 runners, and again we'll pick up on the AM class as soon as the race settles down a little bit. So Goodman coming under pressure from James Hillary from P2, Hannah Chapman in behind, and now here comes Goodman, has a look, jinks offline as they go through bomb hole, and will try and get up into position as we've got a battle on for the lead now. Robbie Dalgleish is putting pressure on the race leader as they go into Coram. Here they come. Still out front though is Dominic Wheatley at the moment. These two will have sparred in the Scottish Championship. Side by side, Dominic Wheatley though is going to be overpowered here by Dalgleish, who goes to the outside run. Side by side, uphill along centre straight. Dalgleish has got his nose in front. Can he hold on to it as they head down towards Riches? Still side by side, Lydia Walmsley in third, not close enough to follow through whoever leads into turn 1, and Dalgleish goes for the sweep. His nose is in front. Is there going to be room on the inside? No, he consolidates that. The 91 car, Robbie Dalgleish, goes through into lead position. Dominic Wheatley from 4th on the grid is now in second, up into third place. Toby Goodman through into third place. Lydia Walmsley's there. James Hillary trying to get back as well, had a much tidier exit from the hairpin this time around. So Lydia Walmsley is in third place. Lydia, with 4 podia so far this year, is effectively not going to be able to challenge for the championship. It's on 490 points. We have 118 available on the weekend. 702 playing 684, so it's between Goodman and Dalgleish for the championship. And Goodman in the 85 car, the second of the cars we're looking at now in shot, looking to try and take the battle on to the last race of the day. If he can keep Dalgleish in sight, he should be able to do that. I said last race of the day, last race of the season, which of course is tomorrow. So make sure you join us for more Mini Challenge Pro Cooper AM class action tomorrow. Hannah Chapman in the mix as well, another veteran of the Scottish Championship, former Scottish Ladies Mini Cooper Cup champion, and had quite a few good lady drivers coming through the ranks up there at Knockhill over the years. Now get the luxury up there, of course, of doing reverse grid races as well. I can't say I particularly like the anti-clockwise configuration of Knockhill, much prefer the traditional clockwise run through. But nonetheless, we get to see some anti-clockwise is the better way around, I have to say, as we head back now and have a look at the AM class. And taking an outside line there is Andrew Langley in the 50. Remember, it's Lee Pearce who is was the championship leader coming into this round, and they head down the Bentley Straight with the number 89 Josh Martin, who qualified second, is at the head of that group. So Josh Martin in front. Josh Porter in the 94 car is in second place, and Pearce is up into third. So Lee Pearce in 23. When we were last covering Mini Challenge with you here, it was the Mini Festival and Lee took a win, and we were speculating about where he was going to move, whether he was originally related to the Pearce stock car family from Bromley, which is where he comes from. And he did actually speak to me after that race and went off and won the World 1300 Stock Car Championship at Kings Lynn, which I think is actually the nearest stock car track to here as well. But he won that, and he's been a very good addition to the championship here. Lee Pearce has come through up into third place. So a good AM class battle going across the line. Confirmation on screen of Robbie Dalglish's fastest lap. That will give him another 6 points. The thing I'm not going to be able to look at in this race is the top 6 in the points, as going through there, making a move, is Archie O'Brien in the 80 car, and it was Archie that I missed earlier on. He really is on a mission. He's got his problem sorted out from qualifying, and it's Archie O'Brien now out front. What a drive through the field for Archie, who had the pleasure of first meeting last year at Giannetta's Junior Scholarship and really made a big impression on us, got through to the final, was actually pipped in the final decision by young Ethan Brooks, who had a very frustrating year in juniors. But Archie O'Brien has come right the way through and leads this class now in the number 80 car from 13th on the grid. Fair play to this guy who's got his car and his driving sorted out, but coming under pressure from the second place car at the moment, having got to the front. Now the hunter becomes the hunted down towards Hamilton, and it's the 84 car piling the pressure onto him at the moment. So Brian, super job to come through. Lee Pearce is still there, back in fourth place at the moment, and to say points wise, he's going to be far too close to call in terms of the championship, with Pearce on an 18-point lead at the moment as we go back to the overall lead. And Dom Wheatley keeping Robbie Dalglish very honest here. A little bit of bodywork goes to Ryan Wheatley's car. Third position, Toby Goodman. James Hillary next up, then Lydia Walmsley. But round into Coram we go, and it's Dalglish. Well, couple of lengths at the moment between himself and the number 14 car, but soaking up the pressure as we head towards the halfway stage. This is going to be the conclusion of lap 3, 15-minute race. So we're looking at maybe just doing this before the halfway stage, so I reckon this could be a 7-lap race. We'll see. Hopefully no safety car interventions as they all go across the line again. Dalglish clear at the moment. Points wise, it's Toby Goodman with the fastest lap at 2 minutes 22.1. Dalglish, I'm looking at the timing screen and trying to keep an eye on what's happening in the race at the same time, because we've got 6 points for fastest lap, 5 points for second fastest lap, and it is going to impinge on what happens here. At the moment, Goodman is the fastest driver. We've also got James Hillary in the 22s. So Hillary's second fastest lap. Dalglish with a 2:23.02, which I think makes him the third fastest driver. So Goodman taking points out of Dalglish on fastest lap, but not in terms of race pace at the moment. And the gap between first and third, 10 points. So it's an 8-point advantage, taking the championship up to 24 by my maths. Again, apologies to the championship coordinators if I've called that anywhere wrong, but just trying to give our viewers a flavour of what is happening championship-wise. So back with the AM class drivers who've had a good old sort out, and Archie O'Brien is pulling clear at the moment of the 94 car in second position. 94, Josh Porter, the man from Aylesbury, the Accelerate prepared car. And we've got Cornell having a look down the inside line as well. Lee Pearce further back than we would expect to see him here, but putting Mark Cornell, who's a local driver, comes from Dis, again an Accelerate prepared car. We've got waved yellows up there, I'm guessing for Neil Clark's car. No, we've got Alex Neville off as well in the number 1. Alex Neville is off and out of the race, so disappointment for Alex Neville. as these two races continue on. Alex, the sporting the number one as the 2018 amateur class champion. Stuart McLaren, who we've already seen today running in the Cooper S class, was the 2017 Cooper Am champion. Last year's pro champion Kyle Reid we saw racing in JCW earlier on in the season as the number one car. He's definitely in retirement. Big shame for him as O'Brien continues to lead. Good old scrap for third though at the moment. Looking settled in second position in class is Josh Porter. There he is in red and black. Then Lee Pearce coming under pressure from the white number 36 of Mark Cornell. Meanwhile, Dominic Wheatley still keeping Robbie Dalgleish honest at the moment. Wheatley in P2, but Toby Goodman closing up and comes offline. Has a look on the inside line as they run down towards the hairpin. Surely is going to make the pass. Wheatley's in him, gives him room. And now the two main championship protagonists are, well, virtually together, but certainly 1 and 2 in the race. But Wheatley is fighting back, grabs the inside line as they come down to Palmer, says he realises he hasn't got the momentum, goes back out for the racing line and will chase now downhill. Well, Wheatley may have lost the place, but he's still got the speed at the moment. Back in fourth place is James Hillary. So Hillary in fourth, not looking too bad as well at the moment. Hillary still in the 2 minutes 22s. Toby Goodman fastest 2:21. Wheatley 2:21 now as well. 2:22.0 for Robbie Dalgleish. Battling going on here with now up into second place. It's Lee Pearce in the blue, yellow and Union flag atop of the car in the mix as well. And coming up to play too is Andrew Langley in the Union flag liveried car. Never mind it just being on the top. He's liveried the whole car with that. But it's Archie O'Brien, the very tall teenager, who is impressing us here as he did all of us at Ginetta at the tail end of last year, and was one of the final 6 drivers. We go through 60 drivers in that event over the course of the 2 days, and he made it to the last 6. We didn't announce a second and third last year, but I'm pretty sure he would have been on the podium, but probably only would have afforded him a winter championship entry perhaps, which is what they did the previous year. But O'Brien very quick, and not only pedalling the car quickly but dealing with the traffic well. Has got a little bit of bodywork askew, but it's the championship leader elect who is there at the moment. Now, where is Paul Manning in the Manpower Motorsport car, who was championship leader by my maths coming into the race, if not the round? And the answer is he's down in 7th place. So Manning for 7th position would pinch 40 points, and Pearce is running 3rd in class. 40 points is for 3rd, and Manning in 7th, so it's 30 to 40, so a 10-point gap is developing here between Pearce and Manning in the AM class. There is Paul Manning in the 46 car, just to again give you the flavour of the points. That's without taking fastest laps into account. Meanwhile, the battle is closing up for the lead, and Toby Goodman here, to cut the 18-point deficit on the race leader, needs to get past. He's only got 2.5 minutes on the clock, but this is shaping up well, and I know that people who are shall we say neutral at home are probably going to be willing on Toby Goodman in the 85 car to go through. Toby's had races in other cars. He raced in Lotus Cup Europe guesting at Brands Hatch earlier on in the year, and he's on the outside line now as they come down to Agostini. Is he going to be able to get the move done? It could be. No, it was brave stuff looking at the outside, but if nothing else, that was telling Robbie Dalgleish that he means business. Dom Wheatley coming back into it as well, side by side into Hamilton, and the 85 car's got the run and got the lead through the inside line. And now watch Dalgleish come back. Dalgleish is switching what looks like the inside. It's the outside line as they go up into Augies, and Goodman knows that. So Toby Goodman has driven superbly to come through, qualified 5th in class and comes through, but I thought was going to have a little bit of contact there with Dalgleish, who coming out of Williams gets on the inside run. That will convert to the outside line as they come down into Brundle and Nelson, but they're 3 wide down the Bentley straight, and on the inside line, which will be the outside into Brundle, coming into it now is Dom Wheatley. 1 minute 24 on the clock. Can we have another 5 minutes of this, please? It will be very entertaining. But in the lead now, it's Wheatley. Superb run out of Williams. Wheatley from 3rd into the lead, and the battle between the main championship contenders carries on. Wheatley manages to lead through Bombhold. Dalgleish reclaims second position ahead of Toby Goodman, and I thought he was going to run wide and Goodman would come back down the inside, but Goodman has got all the work to do again. Will this be the last lap, or will we have time to squeeze another one in? I said we might go to 7 laps. Look at Dalgleish throwing the car around Coram. That is a wonderful shot that we see from the 91 car. At the moment, still leading the AMS is Archie O'Brien, but onto centre straight for the penultimate time, definitely. We've still got 40 seconds on the clock. Past the pit lane entrance, they're all going through. James Hillary still in white in 4th place. Lydia Walmsley, the best of the 2 lady races at the moment, in 5th ahead of Hannah Chapman. And then it's the leading AM driver, Archie O'Brien, in that chasing group of treaded tired cars as they go into riches for the last time. What a race we've got here, and Hannah Chapman has gone through. Hannah Chapman has passed Lydia Walmsley. Walmsley drops another place, Hannah Chapman goes through. So who's going to be top lady in this one? It looks at the moment it might be Hannah, but Lydia will certainly give her a race and try and fight back. This has been super stuff, and remember we've got the JCWs to come, and of course a double helping this weekend because we've got the races online with you again tomorrow. But the pro class giving us a super race, and it's Dom Wheatley who leads this one. Is he going to get mugged on the last lap, Dom Wheatley? We'll have to see whether that is going to happen, because challenging him now, Dom Wheatley's best result was a 2nd position at Graft, but he's under big pressure from Robbie Dalgleish, who at the moment seems to have seen off Toby Goodman, and Dalgleish gets a very good run out of Agostini on the straight, inside line as they go up into Hamilton. Can't quite do it, didn't have the momentum. Back onto the racing line, chasing the 14 car. Little bit of a rub on the curb there for Wheatley. Wheatley's going to try and get back on. The man from Hartlepool still leading and under big pressure. Goodman is, I don't think, close enough to Dalgleish to worry him at the moment as they come out of Williams for the last time. We'll see what the run down the straight does. This is where Wheatley was quicker last time out. He picked up the toe and picked them off to go back into the lead. But 2nd and 3rd, I don't think at the moment are close enough to use the toe to close in a pass. Having said that, here comes Dalgleish. He breaks the toe, looks down the inside line, nothing doing. And this is as much as anything now going to be just about how the race leader can cope under pressure. Wheatley's still there. Dalgleish 2nd. Toby Goodman is 3rd. James Hillary in a very consistent and fast 4th place, but realistically it's about these 3 heading down to Coram for the last time. Wheatley's holding his nerves at the moment. Dalgleish will know that he can't do anything stupid because he can't drop scores. He needs to finish. He needs to pick up the 44 points plus the fastest lap points that go with it. And I apologise for not keeping abreast of the fastest laps of the top 6, but it's just impossible to do as we focus on the race. And it's going to be Wheatley to take his first win by the look of it. It's the run to the flag. Wheatley is there in the 14 car. The checker beckons. Here it comes. Dom Wheatley takes the win. Superb win from the championship leader Robbie Dalgleish. Toby Goodman, an excellent 3rd to come through the grid. And then it was James Hillary, who's still got the AM class battle going on as well further down the field. Congrats to Dom Wheatley. We'll come back to him, and I'm sure Michelle will catch up with him on the podium. And it is still out front, Archie O'Brien, Lee Pearce in 2nd place. O'Brien, remember, is a little way down in the championship standings. He is in 6th place, so Lee Pearce, I think, will reclaim the lead of the championship here and he'll have the lead by 9 or more points depending on fastest laps. But Archie O'Brien is going to grab another win. Here he comes right from the back of the grid to P1. O'Brien wins. 2nd place is Lee Pearce. Next up is Cornell in 3rd place. Josh Porter next. Then it is the number 50 car going through in 4th position, Andrew Langley from 8th on the grid. So it was almost a reverse grid race for some of those drivers, certainly in terms of Archie O'Brien in the AM class coming from 13th on the AM grid, and a super result. Lovely to see and chat to him and his dad this morning, and already making plans for next year is Archie. Remember, one of the teenagers in the championship. He could actually, Archie, I think, still be racing in junior formulae, for example, with the Fiesta Juniors or Ginetta Junior, if that's what. But he decided to come senior racing. But Dom Wheatley, loads of stories to take away from our Cooper Pro Cooper AM race, with Dom Wheatley taking the win in the Pro category, his first win of the season, and very well earned. He worked hard to get into the lead along the Bentley Straight, and then had to work hard keeping the championship leader Robbie Dalgleish right behind him as well. But what a superb race as well from Toby Goodman in third coming through. But Dom Wheatley is going to be well chuffed with that. He started the season here with a fifth and a retirement back in May. Had a second place at Croft in August, as I said, and that was up to now his best result. He's had other podiums as well. He was on the podium at Donington Park, so the writing was probably on the wall that the momentum was there for him. But a super drive, attacking drive to get into the lead, a good defensive drive, held his nerve in the closing stages to fend off the championship leader. I don't suppose there were any ex-Scottish Championship team orders between them, because I think that was a very well-earned win for him. Here comes Lee Pearce in the 23 car, second place in the AM category, so that will afford him a decent amount of points once again and should extend the championship lead. It's going to make tomorrow a fascinating day in both championships. We're going to have eyes absolutely everywhere, and all 10 digits being used to count up fastest lap points, race points and everything else. That is why the mini championship is so popular at the minute. Great racing in both classes, plenty of stories to take away. And Michelle's going to have her work cut out down on the podium, getting the reaction of all those key points. There's the Crudo car coming through. Crudo is an app which is for, that's the sponsor of Archie O'Brien. It's an app that airline crew use when they're going to cities. They can use the Crudo app to find interesting things to do, nice places to stay and all that. And I know Archie and the team have been very grateful for their help over the course of the season thus far, and we'll hopefully have them on board again next year. So championships very much alive as we go into day two, by my reckoning at least, because going into the race, remember, we had 18 points between Dalgleish and Goodman. There are 56 points available in each race, and Dalgleish only pulled out 4 points in the race and a maximum of 6 in terms of fastest lap. So by my maths, both championships will go into tomorrow. And we're looking at Robbie Dalgleish, Toby Goodman for the pro class. The amateur class contenders are Lee Pearce in the 23 car, Paul Manning, who has lost about 10 points, but it was only a point separating him and Lee Pearce coming into that race, and Josh Martin, who finished Josh Martin 6th position in class, is still in with outside chance of the championship as well, and probably Josh Porter. So we'll do the maths and we'll have a clearer picture tomorrow, because there are less points available. As we said, 50 points for the race win and 6 for the fastest lap in the race, and then 5 points going on for all the others. And all of the drivers, a couple of drivers have drop scores to take into account as well in the championship, and the driver who gets hit on drop scores the hardest is Josh Martin, who loses 37 points in the AM class, and Paul Manning, who loses 32. And in the pro category, Robbie Dalgleish has been ultra consistent. He drops 34. But the points that I quoted at you during the race were based on drop scores, and we were assuming that they weren't going to drop any more scores over the course of the course of that race, and indeed the weekend. With 50 points available, they will carry on. So those boys enjoyed that race for sure. It's a super way to continue our day here at Snetterton. Remember, we've got the JCWs to come as well, and they will be on track at 10 to 3 today for their 20-minute race. And we've got another cracker. I've got to work the points out after qualifying for those, but please make sure you join us for the penultimate JCW race of the year. And then we do it all again tomorrow with races from each of the 3 categories. And if they're half as good as that one was, then we're in for an absolute treat. But the main story for me there, or 2 stories, championship still alive, and a super drive by Dom Wheatley to take his first win in the 2019 season. And actually, just thinking about that, he's probably going to snatch 3rd place in the championship, because Lydia Walmsley finished behind him. Lydia dropped scores, she's hit by the drop score scenario, and Dominic Wheatley was only 2 points behind her coming into the race. Lydia took a point out of Dominic in qualifying, but obviously she managed to turn that around in the race. So 3rd position is going to be a bun fight tomorrow as well, and as I say, we're going to have to use every digit available to try and convey the full story correctly for you over the course of tomorrow's races. So fairly relaxed timetable for these guys for the rest. I know they're going to be watching the JCWs because many of these drivers will be looking to use their Pro or AM class status as a way into mini racing. Some of them have been racing before, as we said, lots of drivers coming up through the Scottish Championship, and they'll be looking to either consolidate what they've done this year, if it's a learning year, or move up into JCWs for next year, if they can get in, because the talk around the paddock today is that it's sold out. And I was talking to drivers that are reserves for next year's JCW Championship, and it's full grids this year, but it looks like it's going to be the same next year, which is, you know, full credit to the Mini Challenge team for doing that. And there aren't too many championships in the UK that have a top level championship which is sold out. So very clearly the iconic, and minis are very definitely iconic, this iconic championship seems to go from strength to strength, and you know, the numbers are there to prove it, and we'll have the racing to prove it from the JCWs a little bit later on. So just waiting for the podium finishers to assemble down there in Parc Fermé. Tomorrow's timetable, if you are able to join us, you'd be very welcome. Don't forget to spread the word by social media as well, because we would love to have your company, and indeed as much company as possible, to watch this great racing to finish off the year for the Mini Challenge. And tomorrow's coverage will start at 10 AM when we have the Mini Challenge Cooper S, 15-minute race for them. Their champion was the championship sewn up in race number 1 today, but we've got a reverse grid race to wrap the season up, and Dan Butcherlord looking to come through the field as quickly as possible to maybe sign off his championship challenge with another win. Rob Austin, not the touring car Rob Austin, I hasten to add, will be keen to have a go there as well. And then so 10 o'clock, if you set your alarms on the hour, set your alarm for 11 as well, we've got the JCW race, and that wraps up, different order tomorrow. JCW's after Cooper S, and they're at 11 o'clock. Then we can send you away for lunch, and we've got Mini Challenge Cooper Pro Coopers, the guys and girls that we've just seen, at 1:30 approximately tomorrow. So the podium presentations are underway. Handshakes all around. And all up on the top step. Actually, Archie probably would have done better there to go down a step, but Archie O'Brien, the tall lad there, only a teenager. And I'll tell you what, he's as I mentioned, met him for the first time last year. It was about this time last year, October half term, and he's grown about 3 foot since last year, as these teenagers do these days. That was the AM class podium, and we've got the outright pro podium to go as well. Finishing in second place, also his 13th podium of the season as well. This class will go on. Second position to Robbie Dalglish. Toby Goodman, of course, to the right of shot on the third step of the podium. And Dominic Wheatley looks rightly thrilled with the win. And I've got to say again, superb silverware, which Mini Challenge have put together. All looking pretty happy. They know they've been in a good race. And well, this time it's the shortest of the 3 drivers that's the winner, but a great job by Dom Wheatley. I'm actually very often regaled by Silver. We're going to get the reverse grid now. Anthony's just about to see, we missed it. I was going to see who's going to be on pole position for the race tomorrow. But anyway, tomorrow, of course, we've got reverse grid racing. So super racing that we had already. I suppose in some respects we actually did have a little bit of a reverse grid race today, with Archie coming through from the back, Toby Goodman coming through from 5th on the grid and up onto the podium. And overtaking is something that is not a rarity in Mini Challenge in any of the categories, so they all get stuck in. The cars are very evenly matched. It is racing by definition, with place changes and place swaps right the way through the race, which was absolutely good to see there. So recap tomorrow, this will be our last race of the day at 1:30 tomorrow, but we are going to be back at 10 o'clock in the morning. I think we're just hearing that Michelle is down in Victory Lane and might be able to grab an interview with one or hopefully both of our winners.
So we're here down on the podium, and let's have a quick chat to Archie, who is our winner once again for the Coopers. How did that go for you?
Yeah, had a nightmare in qualifying. I was starting second to last, didn't get a lap in, but at the start made up 3 places on the first corner, and then just from there I started to pick them off, managed to get the lead, and then just managed to pull away from there. And I'd like to thank my team and my parents for everything they do, so thank you.
Good lad, well done, thank you very much. Right, let's see if we can find some of our pro drivers as well. Who have we got? Is Robbie? Oh, should we see if we can find? We've got. Oh well. Oh, sorry. Hello. So how did that go for you? You got a third. You pleased with that? I mean, it was fantastic racing, especially at the end there. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's what we come to expect now from Coopers. Really, is you're going to get a 3-way fight, which we got. But yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster of emotions. This motorsport stuff from this morning, where we had Carl that was basically in bits, to getting out in the spare car, to having decent pace and getting on the podium is. Yeah, it's been an amazing day, a definite roller coaster of emotions, but yeah, I mean, the car was great, the racing was even better, and I think tomorrow's going to be the best yet, so looking forward to it.
Well, you pulled some good moves, so well done, well deserved. Right, let's carry on round. Let's see, we've got Robbie here as well. Here's our second place. Again, I just was saying, fantastic racing there, especially at the end. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was pretty tight out there. I was happy to come second, to be honest. I need the wins for the Sunoco Challenge, but the winning this championship's the main thing. I finished in front of Toby there, so extends the lead again. Just one race to go tomorrow, so yeah, fingers crossed.
Hopeful for tomorrow for the championship win?
Yeah, I think that's maybe about 20 odd points clear now, so it's Mr. Sensible, unfortunately. No one wants to be that, but yeah, I think it's just finish and wrap it up.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, and good luck for tomorrow. And I think we've got our last man. Here he is. Last but not least, congratulations. What a superb win for you there.
Yeah, no, really good. I know it kind of finished the season well. Really wasn't expecting it when Toby got on the back of us. I thought I'd been watching my mirror. I could see him coming through, and I thought really that at that point, once he got on the back, he'd be past us. He'd battle with Robbie. Either way, Robbie or Toby would end up taking the win, and I'd have to settle for somewhere else on the podium. But as they battled, they slowed each other up, and I managed to squeeze through and get that win. So.
Yes, tremendous driving. And so this is your first win, isn't it? Your first time on the podium.
Yeah, in this championship this year. So I think I've had a third and a second, or maybe 2 seconds, can't remember, but this is definitely the sweetest.
Yeah, amazing. Well, well done, very much deserved, and looking forward to tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's tomorrow, the next race, so it feels weird. So good night's sleep, hopefully. Could have done with picking a better number than 6 for the reverse grid, but from 6, hopefully, like that first lap, starting 4th, and all the guys kind of had issues, ran wide or whatnot, and I ended up coming out the second corner and first, so hopefully more of that, and maybe I'll be up there again.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Well done. So there you have it. We've had a good chat to everybody, and yes, that reverse grid really could shake things up tomorrow. So it's going to be a great race. Make sure you join us. But we are also going to be back again very shortly in about, actually, let me just check my watch, about half an hour's time, because there's still one more class to go. It's the JCWs. So it's not over yet. Come back soon.